It's interesting. I try to find that fine line between being conscious of what I'm doing, but not overthinking, but I might be all wrong because, you know, it's a tricky thing, it seems like. I think that's the problem when they go to festivals, they don't relax and play, they're really tense and overthinking. Instead, I try to work on thinking when you're practicing at home and finding a little less consciousness in the performing, but it's really hard.
Yes, it is. And sometimes it can be one or the other. But generally speaking, from what I've experienced and what I've seen, if the student receives a compliment and then just crashes and burns next time, it's because all of a sudden their performance is value judgment. And if they don't achieve what they achieved last time, the conductor will take away the compliment. So that they become less again. That makes sense. You will offer work, and if you don't achieve, it will be taken away. And that is this.
So what's the best way to respond to them messing up after they've been complimented then? You say, oh, I guess there are some sticky spots. Let's keep working to where we can do it over and over correctly. Or what would you say? Yeah.
I would laugh it off. I would say, whoa,
Yeah.
all right. So now we feel self-conscious. That's okay. The compliment was to show what beautiful work you're doing, that you're working on the process, that you're understanding the piece as a unit, and it's a beautiful thing. I would change the compliment first of all. You're working together as a unit. It's beautiful because what does that encourage next time? Listening as a unit. And if you're focused, like you said, focused on the piece itself, on the music, then you're less concerned about am I performing? So it would be something like that. I would laugh it off. Just as with a young kid, if they accidentally do something, like they break a bowl or something like that, why did you break the bowl? How come you do that? Whoops, that happens sometimes. Let's clean it up. Next time, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't make the mistake a huge issue, it won't become a red flag for them in the future. There's a way to kind of totally correct that. Any other thoughts or questions on the second scenario? Yes.
I'm sorry, this is off the
No.
We were in Brazil one time and in this restaurant, and one of the waiters broke some dishes. I've never seen this happen. Other waiters threw dishes on the floor, so it was a group effort. Yeah. No guilt, no. It was a community. The owner never say that.
I love that. Because if we shame or guilt the student, we are teaching them that every action they have, again, it's value judgment. Either I deserve or I should be punished. Those are my two options. There's no in between. That's why perfectionism. So it's very nice thinking that little spot where there's no other options. The black and white thinking. How can they be creative? How can they discover? How can they be revolutionary and play something that's never been played before, see something in a way that's never been seen before, if they are trying to not get punished but be deserving? There's no room. Yes.
So I'm seeing a lot of people. So with this generation, like at least in this area, and this demographic, they seem to be all perfectionists. Like they all want to do the right thing, or the vast majority of them. And of course, you can get the opposite extreme where nothing you say they're going to do. But like here in this demographic, it's I don't know. Is this like a cultural thing? Is this like a like just the rising generation, just who they are? And how do we work around that and help them to overcome the perfectionism? Because that is a huge block.
Yes.
I have a student, as you taught, I have a student who just moved here from Salt Lake, 14 years old. Her parents have tabernacle choir ties, very strict homeschool, oldest one of the oldest children, oldest daughter. And she comes in like a robot, sits and prays, she's in Idaho Youth Symphony, she plays flute, violin, piano, and she's like a robot. And here it is October, and so the last week I'm saying, you can leave it after a smile, or she just, you know, but she has no joy, it's like, and the robots, and interviews, and I know, and I'm sad. Sad, unfortunately.
Because joy is dangerous.
It means,
I do have the, I might mess up, probably we should explain. If I go outside of this, I can't control it. I don't know what to do with the feelings. So I shut the feelings off so I can achieve. Because
and she's feeling no joy and happiness.
it feels dangerous to go into this.
I just have the thought of, before it was black and white, and I've done this sometimes, when I see it makes a mistake, like, they played the wrong note, but it still sounded good, but you didn't even notice it. It's kind of, that's awesome, like, you were really kind of gonna know that actually sounds good as it too, and the composer wanted it to be this way, but and not making it as such a like, this is terrible because they're wrong note. It's almost like, that's cool that you can think musically enough that you can find other notes that actually sound good too. But if we're doing festival, we do this. If we're not, then, you know, it's like, how else can we change it to make it fun? And, you know, anyway, that gives them the other possibilities instead of it just being, this is the old way.
I don't know.
Obviously, the festival, you have to, but.
Right.
But
so-
believe after you can.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing is you're setting an expectation. This is what we have to do, this is the standard, but your experience is valid. And this is not always going to be the expectation.
But it's not a shame, it's not, oh, this is a shame, it's that wrong note.
Exactly. So it's not about not setting expectation. It's about not shaming the student when they don't meet what you're expecting. Yeah, so here, and then here, and then here. Yes.
Oh, I have that.
Oh, were you, okay, if you remember, we'll come back.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, as the judge, is where the kid is has to come and do what's expected. How are we treating those students that come in and say, "Hey, this is," you know,
Right.
we shouldn't be that stereotypical nose up judge.
Yes.
We got to get rid of that. That was always my pet peeve. Is that, you know, that wait a minute, who says that we can't just do it this other way and be creative or. You know, it's okay. I mean, who's going to sit and monitor? All right, yeah, you missed that cluster of notes, but are you? Yeah, you're still a musician.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's important.
It's so tricky though, because we're living in this world now that like even at all their baseball games and things, football games for their kids, they're not keeping track of score, they're not giving trophies, they're not seeing the so we're getting to this point where like they're getting very complacent with whatever. Yeah, but
Everybody
like,
gets a trophy.
and so sometimes it's like, well, I don't have to put the effort in because it doesn't matter to me. And so then there's this other issue of like, it's okay to push them to get things to be correct, but not if it's in a way where their self-worth is being. So, I mean, I'm just asking this question for myself too, like, how do we balance that? Of, like, continuing to challenge them, because this seems like this generation, everything's so easy and if it's not easy, then make it. Like, if something's hard, I don't want to do it, and you can't make me, and I don't have to, and
You can't make me.
and that's kind of what we're
I
seeing.
don't want
you
to, so I'm
know?
not going to.
Yes, and so, and if it is hard and you go with it, then you don't want to ruffle feathers, and so we just let them do that or whatever. And so it is tricky, because we want them to progress and find that success and that joy in accomplishing hard things without diminishing their worth or making them feel stressed or having to feel like they're
So I guess you got to make improving and achieving things just be a fun thing to just do.
Yes,
It's just cool to see your progress.
and celebrate that with
Yeah,
them and
yeah.
express love and that you are proud to make those things and never make it where they're feeling if you're mad at them or, you know, I don't tell my kids that. Don't, you don't come back and you practiced everything. I'm not gonna be upset at you, like, it's okay, it just shows that you can progress more when you practice things. Yeah, and it's tricky.
Yeah, I have two thoughts just to throw in the fire of thinking. The first thought is to kind of answer the previous question about why this generation, why this demographic. Each of us has a physical DNA packet that we're born with. We have this tendency for this and this tendency for that physically, with our brown eyes, with blue eyes, but we also, each of us have an emotional DNA packet. that each of us receive, which is a conglomeration of the experiences of our ancestors. That's just kind of how it works. Fortunately and unfortunately. So what I would say is where we're at in the evolution of humanity has led to a whole generation of perfectionists. Because we have an older generation where everything was about duty. It's going to be hard, it's got to be hard. You don't get to have fun, you've got to survive. If you stop to have fun, you might die. Exactly. They had to survive. And then we have the next generation who was like, oh, I don't want to live that way. I'm going to break free. We have the generation of love, right? And then we have the next generation who doesn't know what to do with either one of those, who have an identity crisis. I don't know what to do. And then we have this current generation that says, if I do it right, I won't fall into either way. I do not want to be like my parents because I saw how they were hurt or I saw how they hurt me. So I will be perfect so that I will avoid. I will avoid pain, I will avoid this contradiction because we do not, as a society, we're very bad at teaching each other how to live with contradictions. And that's where what you're saying comes in. It's not about removing all stress, removing all difficulty, because music is hard. There's a commitment level that is hard. And while we tend to plaster one level of commitment onto each person, when it shouldn't be that way because each person is different, so their commitment level, what that looks like, should look different for each person, but there is a commitment there. So it's not that we are making sure that they never feel stressed, that never feel angry, they never feel disappointed. What our job as teachers and mentors is to teach them or to model to them how to work through it. And that's what's not being taught. Is how, especially musicians, how to work through the disappointments where you don't have to decide either you failed or you succeeded. You were the best or you're worthless. Because that's what music school teaches, right? Music you produce or you don't. That's your only options. If you're not Beethoven, well, you're just an imposter. Because no one can be Beethoven, we're just all imposters. Like it's very black and white. And in the music history, we teach that as well. We teach the highlights. We say Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. And all the students are like, well, I can't be Bach, I don't like Bach. I can't be Beethoven because, well, who can be Beethoven? I don't like Mozart. So, where's room for me? What can I do?
Yes, I was going to add that. So I don't know if you guys know Paul Cardall.
Oh, yes.
I love some music. He was brilliant primary arrangement anyway. But his story is that he took piano lessons and was taught the traditional way. Like you count this way, you do this way. He could not fit in that mold, but he loved to create and he loved music. And was told by his teacher that he would never succeed. And so he quit piano lessons. And then he went on to create, like do what he wanted to do, and he's been very successful with his arrangements of how it come. Now some of his arrangements I get drive me crazy because the counting's off and this and that, but if I sit back and look at it like this is his creation and this is what he had to offer, it's different from what I've learned. But a lot of the great people had to break out of the box. They had to do things differently. They had to think differently in order to create what they really wanted to do. And so I think it's really important to not put people in boxes. Like this is the ideal. But if your ideal is out of that, to not shut it down because true creativity is going to be so much bigger than what we need to do it.
I just love what I'm learning from you young teachers. I'm probably the oldest one here. I just wanted to share something. Actually, I'm struggling with a student right now with what you talked about with commitment and distractions in life. Teenagers, holy cow, it's really something. But one of my past students that earned his master's degree at Boise State in piano performance, wonderful young man, he wrote me one time and said, Sister Green, one of the things that's helped me in my practice so much was a game we used to do. You talked about making it fun. I had 3 pieces of an old chess, beginning how to play chess. It was called Smith. And one of my students named it. There was a little one that was called a midget, and then there was a mini, and I'm not kidding, that mini looked like it's saying, nah, 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 you can't do this. And then there was the queen, and we call them that, the midget, the mini, and the queen. And I challenged them, to play a section 3 times. And at first it's like, are you happy with that? Do you think you deserve that, And when they get to the mini in the middle, it just tickles them to death. Instead of setting him up there, to turn him upside down, and they take ownership and their feelings of what they've done. Then we progress to the idea that let's do it 3 times in a row without breaking or, making mistakes. But they have loved that game so much, and it's just a stupid little game with some physical objects, that they can see. I was reading in a Clavier magazine once of this concert pianist, I forget his name, and before he performed, he required himself to play a number 7 times perfectly before he told himself that he was good enough. I thought, oh my gosh, that's way, way, way too much. But this little tiny sections 3 times in a game form that they really enjoy, it heightens their focus and their attention to really. It's fine if it's slow, but
Powerful principles there. Thank you so much.
again.
I just wanted to interject something. My husband and our little family had to go on a work project to Manteca, California for 2.5 years. And I was so amazed at how many people did not give their children an opportunity to learn how to play music. And what goes on here in this area where we are, by comparison, there are so many good teachers, so many students that feel like there is hope because they have nurturing good teachers. And I just wanted to interject that. I just think this is a fabulous organization. And you're being all of you, if you've got students coming, you are blessing their lives.
Can I share a cool story?
Yes.
So on Sunday, we had these visitors from London, and they got up and brought their testimony. And then we were in Sunday school, and the lady turned to me and she says, I owe you, or you've blessed my life. I said, what? You're from London? I have no clue who you are. She said the missionary that was visiting there, played for her father's funeral. He was my student.
Oh, sweet.
I just cried.
Sweet.
I said, are you serious? No way, And yeah, he played all this classical music for this funeral, and he just said, oh, it was just beautiful. And I was like, oh. So she wanted to thank me being the teacher. It was this big circle. So yeah, we're doing a good thing here. So many parents want their kids to take music, and it is good for them. And I keep telling them, it's just good for your brain. I mean, the brain needs music, all that. So.
The brain and the soul.
And just tell the kids, if you feel otherwise, just do this for yourself, for your brain development. It's just good.
Yes, this is an incredible body of educators. I have been honored to hear your thoughts, hear your experiences, to be here today. We have like 30 seconds. I did want to show you one last thing just for interest's sake. But I want to show this. Behaviors are actions we take to meet needs to gain a people empowered. So if you're not liking the behavior of a student, you need to consider if they don't value themselves. Because everything is like that. And then I wanted to show you this. Each emotion has an energy current. And we have 1,000, which is enlightenment, which is the ultimate that we can experience. It's a combination of multiple things, which is part of our filter. And then 0 is dead, 0 is dead. And I want to look at shame and guilt. Shame and guilt come in at 20. If we are living in shame and guilt, we are basically dead.
How many parents treat their children that way?
Yes. How many musicians are living day to day, trying to fight off death? I'm going to share this experience. It's a little, give you a disclaimer. It is a little intense, but I do feel like it will be important. And it became clear that she was communicating. She had somewhere between an hour to a day. And all of a sudden, I had spent the last 9 months, 8 months, and being like this, I was doing everything I could to be a hope support to her, to offer her hope in healing and moving through. So then all of a sudden I had to switch from hope to acceptance. And it's hard. It's very hard to be in the hospital room trying to grapple with this idea that something that I hoped so desperately for was not going to happen. And I had to resign myself to the horror of what was about to happen. And while I was experiencing that, and again, I realize it's a bit of a trigger scenario, but I'm heading. But in that moment, I realized I recognized this feeling. I recognized this experience of giving up hope and resigning to horror. And I thought, why would I know this? And then it's like a smack in your face. I've experienced that every single time on stage before I crashed and burned. That same feeling. And it became clear to me that for those who experience performance anxiety, it is literally life and death. It feels like life and death. Giving up life and accepting the shame of that performance. Death. Play. So for the students who suffer with this, who are working through this, they hate it just as much as you. It does feel like life and death. That's how the brain is registering. Rejection feels like life and death. Literally feels like life and death. And yet we're expecting musicians to create beautiful, life-affirming music from a place of death. So what I'm saying is creativity feeds on light. It feeds on truth. It feeds on nourishment and hope and love. And I can see this is what you as teachers are doing, and I'm so grateful for you, for everything that you're doing. And know that you too deserve joy and love. You too deserve to feed your creative souls. Yes.
Is there a way that you can share that slide
Yes.
with us? And
Absolutely.
maybe it could be emailed to us.
Mm-hmm.
Love to do that.
Definitely. And
So
so,
I
yes.
comment. So you can go online and look up David R. Hawkins' Map of Consciousness, and you can find that really easy everywhere online.
Okay. But all your slides are good though, because usually our workshops we can get after.
And it is being recorded.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you want access to the slides, I can send you that.
Yeah.
So that ends my presentation. And then we realize we are over time. But if you have any questions, any thoughts, if you want to talk more about this, I'm happy to do so. So thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for being here. Thank you to Rhoda for talking and sharing with us. And thank you for all your comments. That's really fun to hear and to share and grow together as a group. So, the other two workshops on your radar. And good luck with Franco Festival.
This is more damage.
On Monday.
Yeah, it was very good.
everybody needs to do that.
I had dinner with him. The thing is, though, he's like, yeah.
Well, I wanted your face to feel familiar when she gets there.
What's that?
Well, I have one out there.
But what, they discover channels and they set off, now, everything that happens, when you just play that, all the stuff. And
Yeah, it was the first time that she had experience analyzing all of her colors. And she thought that was quite engaging.
I mean, I put that, the class well, no, I didn't know
Will there be a program that will show your favorites?
yeah. Yeah.